So how do you outsource your fitness studio? How do you grow a team? And how do you do it in the right order? So if you're growing a group training studio or a personal training studio, you know that to fulfill its full potential, you're going to need to outsource, hire, or delegate along the way so that you can have a smooth business that works for you instead of you always working for it. And when you have that small team in place, you're able to step back, get more hours back in your life, have more freedom, and then go on to do different or even bigger things. So in my experience of scaling multiple studios and outsourcing them, sometimes on day one of opening, I've learned a lot about the correct recruitment process for outsourcing a gym. And I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I've learned how to do things properly. And this is what I would say to any trainer who's building up their studio for the first time. This is the process that I'm going to walk you through right now of who to hire, when to hire them, how much to pay them, and other important considerations that are going to allow you to quickly and smoothly and profitably fill your studio and have the right team in place and avoid 99% of the headaches that most owners have with their staff simply because they did this in the wrong way. So let's get into it. All right, now we're going to break this down into phases of growth. So I have typically 3 phases that we go through, which is 0 to 100 active recurring clients. You have 100 to 150 clients, and you have 150 to 200 clients. We don't usually grow more than 200 clients in a group training studio. You usually want to cap it around about 200 because that is the level where your churn rate is going to be manageable at a low level. So up until the first 50 clients, okay, on the way to 100 in phase 1, you're going to be doing most of the work, most likely. If you're bootstrapping, you're an owner operator, up until the first 50 clients, you'll manage everything yourself. One thing I would do if I was starting over again is even at the very early stages, as soon as I could afford to, I would get a part-time admin or even a bookkeeper, because when you get to 100 clients and beyond, you start making real money, you're then going to have to go back and collect all your receipts and get a handle on all the financial basics that you missed out on because you were rightfully focused on leads and sales and hustling. So what's easier though is it's so cheap to get a bookkeeper or an admin person, and it'll just save you so much time and energy, and it'll allow you to smoothly grow later on. So a quick hack you can use is just go to one of your clients. If you have 20 to 50 clients at this point, some of them are going to have experience with admin work or reception work, and just see if you can do a barter system. You're not going to need a lot of admin stuff. So an experienced admin person is going to be able to do in 1 hour a week what would take you and I 3 hours a week because we suck at admin work. But a qualified person who's done administrative work for the last 15 years of their life, they'll handle it in like 1 hour. So maybe find one of your clients who's open to bartering and ask if they'd be willing to maybe do 1 or 2 hours a week to help you just, manage the books, manage a little bit of admin, take a little bit off your plate in return, maybe for half price coaching or even free coaching. And it's going to free up so much time and mental energy for you and keep your business organized. And the more organized it is, the smoother it scales. So at this point, when you then get to 50 up to 100 clients, and you should be making around £10,000 to £15,000 monthly recurring revenue, or $15,000, $20,000 or more. At this point, by the time you reach 100 clients, you want to have another full-time trainer in place. And that full-time coach should be taking at least 50% of the sessions off your hands. So maybe either you outsource your evening sessions to them or you outsource your morning sessions to them. Okay, you'll still be doing the other sessions. And at this point, at 100 clients, you definitely want an admin person. Your time is now going to be focused on generating leads, closing sales, fulfilling 50% of the clients, and you'll be doing retention tasks and maintaining relationships with the other 50 clients that you're not working with. Now, the next step is you reach 150 clients. At this point, your monthly recurring revenue will be 25 to 30,000 a month. At this point, you want to have 2 to 3 trainers covering all the sessions. You need to be completely free of coaching by the time you reach 150 clients. Because at this point, your business doesn't need a hustler. Your business needs a leader. You've got 150 people's expectations to manage. You've got 2 to 4 team members to lead. And you've got to now make sure that your team are doing the right thing. You've got to make sure your team are being trained up, that they're being led, they're being inspired, they're being taken care of. You can't do that if you're spending 4 hours a day coaching fitness sessions. So that's the trade-off. If you want a team in place, you have to give them your jobs and you have to get out of the coaching. You can't have it both ways. At this point, you also want to have a part-time to full-time client success manager. A client success manager is my name for basically a retention specialist, someone who is going to build and maintain the relationships with the clients outside and around the sessions. You see, what will happen is your churn rate will generally be very low in the beginning. When you have 50 to 70 clients, most trainers have a 0 to 5% churn rate because managing 50 people was very easy for you to do. You didn't have a lot going on. And so your retention rate was very high. What you'll find is though, when you get past 75 or past 100 members, this is where you start juggling too many plates and you won't be able to give the clients the same time and attention and over delivery that you gave in the very beginning. And you're going to see that your churn rate will start to creep up. And you might start losing 8 to 10% of the members each month. 8 to 10% is the average for most studios who don't deal with this problem. So at that point, the problem then becomes if you've got 150 clients, but you're also losing 10% a month, you're losing 15 clients a month, which means you have to get 20 new clients every month only to grow by a net of 5 new monthly recurring clients. So you have to get 10 sales a month at 150 members. If you only keep 5 because you have 15 dropping off, you're growing by 5 net members, and that's 75% of your effort gone to waste. So you're always going to struggle to grow the gym past 150 members unless your retention is supercharged. And the way we do that is you get a client success manager to come on board and help you deliver all the retention systems. Now, I teach Fit Pros on my mentorship 7 key retention systems, and you have to do all of them, and that will slash your churn rate down to 5% or less. And if you do that, this is actually the key to scaling, is lowering your churn rate so you don't lose anyone. And then if your churn rate is just 3 to 4%, then now you get 20 new clients coming in, and you're actually going to have a net growth of about 10 to 12 new members a month, right? So your monthly recurring revenue jumps up very quick. At this point as well, by the time you reach 150 members, you also want to have an appointment setter or a lead nurture person, because your volume of leads is going to be so much at this point. You need someone who's going to filter and qualify all the leads and conversations and only book in with you the most qualified people. At this point, you should still be doing sales. Let your coaches coach. You focus on sales because that's the biggest thing to make money. And at this point, like I said, if you're getting leads from Facebook ads, Instagram DMs, all your organic marketing, you're going to have referrals pouring in at this point if you're doing everything right. So if you're getting like 10 to 15 leads a day at this point, you need that appointment setter to be like the gatekeeper who is going to filter and talk to all those leads first and book in the best ones with you. So this is how you leverage your time. And for example, then if an appointment setter books in with you 2 to 3 solid qualified consultations a day, You're just going to do 3 hours of closing per day, and you can walk away with 1 or 2 clients every single day. That's going to give you an extra 15 to 30 new sales a month. Now, finally, you reach 200 members, which is really the overall capacity that we're looking for. At this point, you should be having a monthly recurring revenue of at least £30,000 or about $40,000 to $50,000 US. At this point, then you can hire a general manager or supervisor who's going to take on some of these roles. So usually this will be one of our long-standing coaches who wants to go into management because they already know how everything works. That coach usually would start by giving up 50% of their coaching hours. So they'd be a part-time coach and a part-time manager. That's when they're apprenticing you, and you're going to, over 12 weeks or so, you're going to ease them into the management role bit by bit. When they're ready for it, then you put them full-time into management, and you'll get another full-time coach to replace them. At this point, then finally, you could also look at getting a salesperson as well. That's the strategy to 200 members. That's the team you're going to have in place. It's going to be, you at this point now, you'll just be the CEO and owner. Okay, you get your free time back. You might go on to open another location, or you might just want to sit back and let the business run as an investment asset for you. You might even want to sell the business. You could sell the gym for a very good high 6-figure to 7-figure price tag because it doesn't depend on you at this point. Underneath you then is going to be the general manager. And underneath the manager is going to be the rest of the team, the 3 to 4 coaches, the client retention specialist, and your appointment setter and salesperson. So you want to now control the flow of information and communication. You don't want your entire team having full access to you and asking you things like, can I take this holiday break? Can I talk about my pay? Can I do this? Can I do that? Instead, all those team member issues will go through your manager. If the manager is empowered to deal with those issues, great. It stops there. If the manager is not yet empowered to deal with those issues, or it's not an issue for them to deal with, then the manager can come to you. And this will filter down the amount of management you have to do. So ultimately, you will though empower the manager so that he can handle everything without your input. And from there, the business runs fully without you. Okay, so one more quick thing to add on that is that I always teach that your total payroll, including paying yourself, should come to no more than 30% of the gross revenue. So if you make £10,000 a month in gross sales, that gives you a budget of about £3,000 for payroll. So a studio making 10K a month should not be paying more than $3,000 a month on payroll, including your own in that too. Now, a lot of trainers who come to me, their studios are stuck, they're not profitable, they're stuck at 75 to 100 members and can't grow anymore. And this is the key problem. They need to hire staff, but they can't do it within that budget. So if you're in that position, if you just think there's no way I can cover all my payroll with only 30% of my revenue, that's a problem, okay? Now, the 30% budget, that's not the problem. What this has done is it has highlighted your real problem. And your real problem is going to be one of a couple of things. Either you're undercharging the clients. This is quite common, okay? You're probably undercharging clients. So a lot of trainers do this. They charge less in the beginning. They don't have a financial forecast. They don't have a financial plan. So they've charged the wrong amount of money to begin with. And now they have 150 members all paying too little. And so even with 150 members, there's so much work to do, but they still can't afford to pay coaches or retention specialists to help them because the money's not there. So you're stuck in a bottleneck. You've got to charge more. Another possible problem might be that you're overpaying yourself or your other staff members. Now, overpaying can be one of two things. Overpaying could mean that you're paying well beyond the going market rate and people are holding you to ransom, basically. Maybe you're paying yourself too much. If you're doing 40 hours a week of coaching and you're paying yourself £4,000 a month, that's not a realistic market value. You're paying yourself what you want to pay yourself, but that's not what you would pay someone else to do your job. So make sure you're not inflating your own salary. The other way to look at overpaying, though, is it could actually be underperformance. Now, there's nothing wrong with paying someone above the market rate. So if the going rate for a trainer in your area is $2,000 a month, for example, there's nothing wrong with paying a trainer $4,000 a month as long as they are bringing you an ROI on that investment. So if a salesperson comes to me and says, hey, Justin, I want to get paid $10,000 a month salary, I'll say, no problem. I'll happily pay you $10,000 a month. If you show me how you're going to bring me $50,000 a month. You bring me $50,000 in sales, I'll happily pay you $10K. That's how it works. So there's nothing technically wrong with overpaying people. The problem can come from them underperforming. So you've got to have tight job roles. You've got to set up the job role so you know it has the capacity to make that amount of money. And then you've got to be tight on top of the KPIs, and you've got to track their performance, and you've got to train them to do it. So that's missing in 90% of studios that need help. And the other problem could be that your other expenses are too high. Maybe you're paying too much on random expenses, too many subscriptions you don't need. You're in 5 different mentorship groups that are not helping you, or just your personal expenses are too much. Maybe you're paying too much in your personal life. You're leasing that Audi before you can really afford it, right? You're buying Rolexes and stuff just because you made £8,000 in a month. And you're stressing the business because now the business has to pay you more money to cover your stupid personal expenses. And therefore now you can't afford to pay a staff member, and therefore you have to work 90 hours a week and don't have a life anymore. So for most fit pros that come to me, it's a combination of all these problems that we fix in the first 30 to 60 days. And we fix these problems, and that will unlock your scale potential because we're going to release profits into the company, restructure the finances, and that allows us then to quickly hire the staff, which then makes the business more effective and allows you to step back, get more free time, get more mental clarity, and become the leader that your business needs, not the hustler.